My meeting is going to be like really light talking. So it's more about like if you are a person who is concentrating on developer experience as part of user experience design, or maybe you are thinking about starting your in business which offer integration solutions. So I hope that I might be able to give you some insights that what you can do to get started with your developer experience journey. So what developer experience actually is derived from the term user experience, and this term has been around for a while. So there is like no need to reintroduce or define, as the companies put their utmost best effort to ensure their customer enjoy their services with satisfaction while solving their problem. Nielsen and Norman, two of the noted figures in user experience fields, perceives user experience to encompass all aspects of the end user's interaction with a company, its services, and its products. Think from the very renowned product that is known around the world for their user efforts, Apple and their smartphone product segment. Apple's first most priority is to meet the exact smartphone needs of the customer without fuss or bother. Then next comes the simplicity and elegance that the product produces, and that is a joy to own, a joy to use. Their user experience goes as far beyond giving customer what they say they want, or providing a checklist and checklist about it, but it's more kind of like a seamless of services focusing on multiple disciplines including engineering, marketing, graphical, and user industrial design. Hence you always see that the anticipation and excitement of people forming lines in the store the night before the release and enjoying the class service and maintenance after the purchase. And all this thing happens before, during, and after usage of their product. So as we just discussed, UX puts user in their center. To ensure good user experience, your product needs to consider several personas with different habits. Take it from the online retail giant Zalando. They aim to cater different user segments trying to enjoy a good experience from e-commerce platform. One of their personas might be interested to purchase apparel made via sustainable manufacturing. Another persona may be an online sales representative from Marimekko who wants to increase their sales on e-commerce platforms. Now emerge a different type of persona who is a developer. She or he wants to create a service or product to fulfill some cause. For example, creating a service to monitor online purchase of sustainable products from different e-commerce platforms. This is a new type of persona with an unique need, not to directly associated with his or her product purchase habits. So when you are accommodating this, or your product or service accommodate this persona, you are ensuring developer experience. So what is the definition of developer experience from literature perspective? Fabian Fagerholm and Jürgen Munich in their 2012 article named Developer Experience Concept and Definition stated that developer experience consists of experiences related to all kinds of artifacts and activities that a developer may encounter as part of their involvement in software development. And these could be divided into experiences regarding developer infrastructure, meaning development and management tools, programming language, libraries, platforms, frameworks, etc. Then how is their feeling about their work, which is gaining the respect from internal and external community, attachment and belonging to the product, and also the value of one's own contribution, that is aligns his or her own goals with those of the product, plans, intention, and commitment. But let's go to see what developer experience means in easier terms. The essence of developer experience is to put developer in the middle and consider the development from their point of view, what they need and how they want their product to work, and what they want to achieve with it. The core in DX is the feeling developer has when they use your API to build some of the most loved applications in the world. If average, but just think from that perspective that when in average user experience or an average consumer, if he or she doesn't like your product, then they will go away and they will try to use some other products in the market because it's a competitive competition out there. But with the developers, it's actually more daunting. They will actually can customize the open source solution and use it, or they can actually build themselves the same offer that your service or product is claiming, and they can say that I can build it myself. So treating them is kind of like sensitive, and then catering to their need is takes you to the whole different level, considering if your business is offering integration solutions. So if we think about how they are different from one another, maybe not that much, but let's see how it works. As for example, let's demonstrate with a very popular social media service, Twitter. Twitter is one of the biggest social media, specifically when you are looking to carry out a conversation around a topic. So you might be a person following the hashtag #MeToo movement and want to express your thoughts there, or you can be the marketing officer, as for example our Pirko here, who is promoting platform of trust to the outside world. Or maybe you are a developer following trending topics related to APIs. For all these three people, there are some common activities. For example, browsing tweets with trending hashtags, writing tweets, replying to tweets, and retweeting. And now if we think from a bit of advanced usage, our marketing officer might automate something in HubSpot so that it sends tweets or retweets something shared by company employees. But when it comes for the developer persona, he or she might want to do something totally different. Suppose he wants to curate the tweet with hashtag #MeToo and project some trends in the conversation pattern. Now, this is really different than the usual activities that people do across Twitter. So how the developer persona might be able to do it? He would look for means to see how Twitter can facilitate this, perhaps via an API. The ease of finding such an API, learning what functionalities it supports, and finally starting to use it to implement the analysis application or platform. This ensures how good experience the developer gets from Twitter. And this is what is difference from user experience to developer experience. So why developer experience is important? Integration solutions offering marketplaces, accommodating partners and other third-party developers to use the offer technology to create new businesses and services catering versatile needs for different consumer segments. According to the Pass View and Developer 2019 Executive Summary Report published by International Data Corporation or IDC, developers exercise significant autonomy and influence over the enterprise purchasing decisions. So developers were and still are one of the personas you should always aim to cater. If your digital product which is a tool, library, service, platform, or whatever it may be, has some touch points that can be used by developers, then it will have a developer experience of some sort. So this could actually affect what is the usage and adoption of your product or service. And tools with good developer experience facilitate faster and easier onboarding, and which in turns also save the cost. DX at the core can aid the widespread expansion of your business and offer technology solution. For example, if a developer given a choice between two APIs to make speech to text conversion, then he or she will choose the API that provides faster onboarding in terms of documentation, tryouts, and resources. Increase in implementation speed also means delivering business value features to end users of the product more quickly. And this means all wins for your product, all wins for your company, and the achievement of your business goal. And last but not the least, when you ensure good developer experience, you gain the trust and advocacy from third-party developer, so your product has widespread recognition beyond the horizon. So now comes the fact that developer experience, and as we can see that it is a bit different from user experience, how you can actually get started. So the first thing is API documentation. In integration business, you offer your product or service as a platform where third-party developers can add functionalities on top of it to benefit other users through newly created service scopes. APIs or application program interfaces allows and enhances platform capabilities of creating new services. As third-party developers are trying to solve a problem using your service, they want to understand how your API works. So here, API documentation comes into picture. It is a technical content describing how to use and integrate with your available APIs. API documentation is the key to a great developer experience because your API doc determines how easy it is for developers to discover, learn, the usage, and finally integrate with the APIs you are providing. So if you actually manage to get your API documentation right, then developers will enjoy using and adapting to your APIs. Then there will be possibilities of creating network effect, meaning the better your product is, the more users and advocates you will be obtaining, and it would lead to good maintenance of your product by internal developer team. Nowadays, developers or API description formats like Swagger or OpenAPI specification has made it really easy to automate, generate, and maintain API documentation and can be used by people from any domain. As there are online tools like API Engine to convert an OpenAPI spec or a RAML file into HTML API documentation with sample code examples. When you are actually creating your API documentation, you can ensure some good key features, which are references to guides, tutorials, etc. Means of authorization, which is how developers can access your APIs. Sample use cases, but don't clutter your documentation if your product has complex user scenario. Instead, have external guides pointed at the API documentation. And last but not the least, code samples in multiple language framework, as for example Python, JavaScript, Curl, so that apps developer can use them as reference and start quick development. Another thing is onboarding process. So developers are actually busy people who will actually try to come and see that how long does it take for them to start using your service at the quickest possible time. So the onboarding process should consist of simple steps which will actually help them to get start your product in less than a few hours, or even it's better a couple of minutes. Think from the perspective that your entire product or workflow is comprised of different APIs or more than one APIs, and they have interrelated functionality. But does developers have that much time, or they can afford to take a look at all of them and not drown into the complexity into their complexity of the work? Sorry, I think my onboarding process lost the video over here. So sorry for that. But like, as the onboarding process comes into hand, that it demonstrates how individual features of your product would fit together to implement the entire value chain. This can be a guide, a video, or automated tutorial in logged in view of your service. This process can often comprises of simple step-by-step instructions, starting from registering to the end and executing some commands to complete a given workflow. Steps might additionally include API calls, recommended guides for further reading, and resources to carry out. The intention is to start using your product features as fast as possible. And again, sorry that the video is not working over here, but the presentation isn't a presentation without a demo effect. Next, we were talking about resources. So your API documentation is the key, that how your APIs can be understood, can be used, can be integrated, and can be fast used. But this is not enough. So as I told earlier, that your API documentation, whenever it is pointing some specific functionality, there should be external resources, as for example, guides to get the authorization token, or maybe describing in more details about one particular feature of your product and how does it affect in your overall integration solution. Then you can think about providing tools like Insomnia Workspace, or code SDKs or sample libraries, so developers can use them and start doing their development as fast as possible. And these sort of resources are actually really good with new coming developers who are young in age, or even like persons like us who are coming from a different background, as for example, user experience, or even business background, or even marketing background, so that they are provided easier means like Postman collection or Insomnia collection to try out your APIs from your platform. And all above the resources that we talked about, and access to Sandbox, which we will be coming in a short while, can be facilitated via developer portal. Developer portal are a place or an interface where people can actually communicate with your API, use the SDKs to try out your services, try out the APIs to call to your original service to see how they work, and then can get accesses to the resources which will aid them for faster onboarding. Out of the box developer portals, which comes along like services of Azure API management, which is one from Microsoft, and then there is also like Pronovix, who it's a company who conduct extensive research on developer portal and developer experience, and then also offer their services for other business to create a developer portal to cater their business need. And even you can start making a developer portal out of a content management system like Wagtail. So whatever you choose it, the technology is over there. Just you need to ensure what you want to provide there, and if the aided technology that you are using that actually helps you to achieve your goal. Just a while ago, we were talking about Sandbox. So Sandbox is a vital tool that can act as a playground for developers to carry out their app development or integration works in a secured or isolated manner. You can plan your product monetization schemes in such a way that the developers can try out the technology you are offering under free or freemium price tag before committing themselves and start using the solution in production environment. Sandbox could be a GUI showcasing your feature offerings, or it can all even be a simple listed curl commands which you can actually execute and to send HTTP requests to your APIs. The underneath idea is to have your APIs being implemented and deployed to multiple environments. For example, development, sandbox, production, etc. Your sandbox should cater the service in such a way so that when they are committed to your service and have chosen a pricing plan, their entire implemented integration project can be pushed to production deployment with very uh, minor configuration work, not starting from the scratch into a new environment. The next thing is feedback. So you may provide great onboarding process, rich API documentation, and additional resources. But once in a while, your developer customer may feel the need of additional new resource or might want to report an undiscovered bug. In addition, if you are using design-driven development in API implementation, developers acting as your customers can evaluate API specs to see if it covers business requirements and technical expectations. Rapid feedback and response to it facilitates the growth of trust and advocacy from your developer customer. And developers would be assured that you are there to ease their pain, and hence they would vouch for your integrity. Very simple solution to collect feedback could be a repository under your organization in GitHub. You can create various issue templates addressing different aspects, that is guides, APIs, bugs, etc. You can also customize your developer tool to include CTS redirecting to these templates. Also, there are third-party services like Zendex to facilitate support requests, or a public Slack channel where third-party developers are welcomed to ask about questions when they are trying to use your integration solution. It is very usual for your company web pages, which is the commercial one or the marketing one, that host frequently asked questions or FAQs so that visitors or newly onboarded customers can look up and find information about your services and offers. This same FAQ could also be implemented for developer customer segments as well. But here you could be a little bit innovative. Why not try Stack Overflow? It may sound daunting and a bit bold to use this platform, and there are reasons to feel intimidated with hardcore developers in charge of maintaining the threads and community guidelines. But in proactive approach, you can start on your own by self-answering questions, which may often come to your support channels like Zendesk or Slack channel. Stack Overflow has the option to self-answer a post, and you can use it to get started your company's engagement. It's always better strategy if internal developer teams can post something once in a week. If any of your developer advocates have enough reputation in Stack Overflow, they can create a tag only specific to your company. Gradually, as you progress and share about your engagement, interactions from third-party developers would gradually begin. Another tool, which is last but not the least, is developer newsletter. This is a marketing tool that can aid to your engagement to developers. In developer newsletter, you can talk about upcoming releases in your products, new resources, use cases, blog posts, developer events, and many things that would surely catch their attention. But do keep in your mind to make sure that the newsletter is concise and concrete so that it doesn't bring extra noise to them. If you are writing the developer newsletter on your own, it is always best idea that you proofread it with the person in charge of your marketing and communication duties in your company. So now comes the concluding remarks of our presentation, that it might sound really daunting to get started with and announcing your developer experience or launching the means to provide a seamless experience for them. And you might even consider that, are you actually catering all the developers with your efforts or with your offered solution, or to help them to quickly onboard? Well, this can be treated in the way that no service in this market or this current day can cater all the people or all the users that you are hoping for. Someone would like it, someone will not like it. But if you think about the possibilities that when people like us who are not hard-coded developers, or even business people who are in between technical fields and then business domain, they want to make a decision about purchasing an enterprise solution offering integration solutions, how they want to commit to it, how they want to give their concrete opinion that yes, your solution is the one that is going to solve our problem. Then yeah, definitely you need to provide means for faster onboarding to try out your solution before people can actually make commit to your product. And as we earlier talked, that providing faster onboarding, then keeping into the feedback loop, and then helping them out to try out your products actually ensures trust and advocacy from the developer. And for us, people in between two domains, or newly emerging developers who have just started their journey, developer experience containing enough resource and easy tryout services or options makes their developer experience really good. So I would, at the end of the day, from my learning experiences in platform of trust and with my career in user design, I would definitely emphasize that have a good amount of resource to dedicate ensuring good developer experience if you are committed with integration business. And for a user designer perspective, it's actually a really good work or a field of domain to concentrate if you want to jump up in the newer business or the newer platform economy or data economy. So now we actually have some time for discussions and questions. I hope the presentation or the topic that we discussed wasn't too difficult for everyone, but if you have some questions or if you want to discuss something more with me, we have now the time for this.